Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to make this DIY Dollar Tree easy $4 snowman. He's so cute! My inspiration was from Cracker Barrel. And actually this is from last year. I've been trying to do this for you guys for a year, but I had trouble finding the wreaths in the two different sizes. But they have them this year, yay! So the Dollar Tree carries an 18-inch and a 15-inch white wreath if you're lucky enough to find them. Again, but if you're not, you can break down a tree. I wanted to tell you the options of you can use the white off the tree there. And then this is a 98-cent hat from Walmart, but they do sell them at the Dollar Tree. But this guy we're going to make with buffalo check. And we're going to use a scarf like this and then a little bit of an infinity scarf we had left over. We're going to use a hot glue gun as well as our scissor. And I wanted to show you too, if you do feel like making it exactly like the Cracker Barrel piece, they do sell hats and gloves at the Dollar Tree that are pre-made, and they sell the ornaments. These ornaments are super inexpensive. They're plastic, they won't break, and then you can go ahead and glue them on to create. And they also sell the berries to create the exact look from a Cracker Barrel if you want. But what we're going to do here is basically the simplest form of this. I wanted to keep it mobility friendly, and I wanted to keep it easy, kid friendly. We're only going to use the hot glue to glue the gloves. This entire wreath is just going to be held together by itself. And we're not even going to put a hanger on it because it's strong enough to hang just from the wreath itself. But I'll show you what I mean. The first thing I want to do is I want to fluff out the wreath. At first, I thought that I was going to have to cannibalize the white Christmas tree to add some more volume to this. But when I started to fluff it out, I realized that this is a very full wreath. Both of them are. Surprisingly so, I have to be honest. Surprisingly so, but pleasantly surprised. I was, for sure. And you kind of can tell, or I could tell anyway, that this branch was wanting to lean this way. This branch was wanting to lean that way. And sort of that is the way I went. If you were doing this for any other project and you wanted the branches to come towards you too, I mean, you might have to add a little bit of, cannibalization from that taking apart that Christmas tree, or buying two wreaths and adding them on top of each other for volume. But for these purposes, as you can tell how cute he was from the thumbnail, I didn't do any doctoring to him other than fluffing up his leaves, branches, excuse me. And of course the branches are like this from the factory. So what I did was I tried to find the two barest spots of the two wreaths, and I married them because he's going to get a scarf around his neck. I didn't care if there was a bare spot at his neck. So what I just did was I took the two bare spots, butted them up to each other, and took whatever branches were touching and just used them to twist the two wreaths together. That's it. I just twisted it over. So if you've been around for a while, we did a project where we made a wreath out of an infinity scarf, and we only used half of it. This is the other half. So basically what I did was I took an infinity scarf from the Dollar Tree. You don't have to get buffalo check. It is fleece. And I cut it down the middle lengthwise. First I cut it open, then I cut it down the middle lengthwise. And that's what this remainder is that we're going to get his scarf out of. But we're also going to get his gloves out of it too. So I'll show you here what we tied a knot, and I tied a double knot because I really wanted it to hang down and not out. So I tied it, and tied it one time, tied it twice. This way it hangs down, and then I cut one a little longer just for the effect of how cute that would be. And then once I have that all done and I have it positioned the way I want it, I went ahead and I wanted to fringe the ends. This is totally optional, but I just thought it made it look really super cute and special. So basically I just cut up with my scissor. I'm about 1/4 inch pieces. You don't have to measure. If you're lucky enough to get a buffalo check scarf with a fringe on it, you can always cannibalize the fringe from a different buffalo check scarf. Would be cute as well. But I just figured, what the heck, go ahead and cut it up. It won't make that much of a difference. But I just thought that really did add a little something special to it. All right. Now, I wanted to just show you really quick that this could be done. So this wreath, to me, is one of these design your own. So we've made a snowman. We put on a scarf. There's his Santa hat. He could be done now. Hang him on your door and have a good day. Or we could jazz him up a little bit more. So you can buy mittens from the Dollar Tree. that you can just go ahead and use. As you looked at the example, it kind of had just regular winter gloves and hat. But, I'm really, the last 4 or 5 years have really been into the buffalo check from Woolrich. Well, Woolrich, anyway, buffalo check, the red and black, and been lucky enough to find it at the Dollar Tree. So I just wanted to continue that farmhousey looking rustic cabin look through my house. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of scrap paper, the width of the scrap of fabric that I have, which again is left over, the half of the width of the infinity scarf. And I folded it in half and I just created a half circle. I feel like everybody can create an arch one way and then cut it out. Then what I've done is I've traced my thumb on one edge of the arch. And now what I'm doing, and I'm just darkening this so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm refolding a new arch from the inside of the thumb to from the outer edge to the inside of the thumb, and I've created a new arch so that you could have a mitten form. Now this thumb is a little bit exaggerated because when you need it, so then we go trace it. You basically you need to, I don't know what I'm saying. You need to cut this pattern lower than what your actual mitten's going to look like. And I just trim it up if it's not the shape you absolutely love, and I thinned out the bottom. And now what I've done is I've folded the fabric in half. And just made sure it's all clean, and realizing I have it upside down. Yeah, I'm just going to put the top round part at the fold, and I'm doing that just to keep the two halves together, just to help out. And now I'm taking a white chalk marker. This isn't necessary for you guys. You can just cut it out if you want. You can see if you use Sharpie. I'm doing this for the camera. If you need to use a white marker to see, then you can. And then you want to just cut it on the inside of your lines. So that none of your white marks are left. Okay, and this just cuts 2 layers, cuts with just my regular craft scissor. Like I said, keep the point connected at the top. Now, if you like to sew, this is a very easy project. You could just whip stitch it, but we're just going to glue it, and we're just going to use hot glue. If you want to do this with your kids, fabric glue, Aleene's tacky glue, all of that will hold for the purpose of this project. You don't have to worry about your kids aren't going to be wearing these mittens, I guess is what I'm saying. So I've gone as close to the edge as I possibly can, folded it back onto itself, tried to line it up, but that's why we keep it attached to the top, just to make it that much easier. And then here's where the patience comes in. You have to let it cool. Oh boy, let it cool. I don't want to let it cool. I want to go. Let's go. Come on, hurry up. But I wanted to show you that I'm going to show you guys 2 options of how to finish the gloves. These could be done, again, just like everything else. These could be done right now. You don't have to turn them inside out if you don't want to either, because they still look like gloves and mittens, and they're cute. But once it's cooled off, I've taken the pencil eraser to turn the thumb inside out, and then I've turned the mitten inside out just to create an actual finished mitten. The reason I wanted to do this finished mitten is because it gives more volume to the mitten that actually looks like there may be a hand in there. When you just glue the 2 halves together, it just looks like somebody laid a glove down. And that's just my opinion. So now I'm going back, and once you've turned it over, sometimes you will reveal a hole where the glue might have dried before you got it folded in half, or cooled off before you got it folded in half. So just go back and fill in any of those open holes. I use the tip of my mechanical pencil to push it in. Okay, and now I'm just going to create a little trim around the wrist. Now this is just more of scrap of the mitten that I have left over, and I'm going to show you 2 finishes on this. When I show you the second mitten, I'm going to show you a second finish. But this one I feel is the easiest one. I've just taken a scrap of fabric and I folded it in thirds, so it's like a tube almost. And I'm just going to glue it to the bottom of the mitten. And you want to make sure the mitten stays open because you're going to actually insert a branch in there. So when you do this, just be mindful of where the glue is. Make sure that your opening is still open. And then I'm going to fold around the back the 2 ends and just glue that there, because it's not actually like a real mitten someone's going to wear. It doesn't have to look good from both sides. I also glued inside the tube on the ends so that it would lay flat. All right. And I'm going to repeat the same for the other side. Just be careful. Again, it's hot glue. You don't want to burn yourself. And if you're doing this with your little ones, obviously you don't want to do that either. Okay. Yeah, if you're doing this with your kids, I definitely suggest getting the mittens and hats, and you can change them out. If you're lucky enough to find these wreath forms, you can actually make maybe one for each child. They can dress them up and decorate them how they want as well. Okay. And because they're snowmen, like, you can go to the toy section, you can get like a little softball, a little basketball, a little football, and you can like stick them on there and you personalize them for your children would be cute too. So now we're just repeating the process with another section of the scarf that was left over that we had cut off. And we're going to repeat the process as we did before, except this time we've made the hem longer. Instead of gluing on a tube like we did, we're going to make this one a little easier. We're going to fold it up. But you want to make sure that you glue, made a boo-boo, glued too close, didn't glue close enough to the edge. I glued too close to the inside of the thumb. But I fixed that. I scraped it off, let it dry, and started over. But this time we're going to make this a little longer, but you're not going to glue to the very end. You're going to leave about a half of an inch, which, yeah, that didn't happen for me. You're going to leave about a half of an inch unglued at the bottom, and I'll show you why in a second. But now we're doing the same things. We're just repairing, turning our thumbs, repairing any holes, any holidays, my dad used to call them. Anytime you miss a spot, he called it a holiday. I don't know who started that or where it came from, but that's just what we called it. All right. And then once it's all set and you have all your, trims and bits glued up and fixed up, then you want to turn it out. I'm having so much trouble talking today, aren't I? I'm using the pencil eraser just to help push the thumb through. And then the pencil point. So just with the mechanical pencil, it's good. You could just make the lead go in. And that is a really nice tool for turning stuff. I actually have turning tools, but I try to keep this all Dollar Tree stuff. And I know you guys can't find a turning tool at the Dollar Tree. They have clay tools. I found clay tools there. Oh, no, that wasn't the Dollar Tree. Was that the Dollar Tree? Oh, that was the Dollar General yesterday. Sorry. And then you're just going to glue any openings closed. And these don't have to be like perfect matches. You can see the thumbs are a little bit different. But because they're on the other side of a snowman, plus it's a snowman. Just saying. We're not trying to protect him from the cold. Can't figure out why he wears gloves and hats. But I just thought he was super cute, so I wanted to treat you guys. So I'm just working it out. I'm trying to create the same shape that we had in the first mitten. All right, and then once I have it all figured out and closed up, and all its spots are fixed, now we're going to work on the hem. I mean the cuff. I don't know where my brain's at. And how we want to do this is we're going to fold this one over. That's why we made it a little bit longer. And I'm showing you here that what you want to do is you want to actually, now that the glove is right side out, you want to glue the two hems closed, what almost would look like upside down. I mean, glue them now. How's that? Because once you do that and it's cooled off, and when you turn over the cuff, you won't see the seam. Does that make sense? Okay, so just see here. So all I've done was I've glued those two little half-inch pieces closed. I've cut off, just trimmed up whatever gross edges of glue are there. And then we're just going to cuff it over. Oh, is it dry? Is it cooled off? You got to make sure it's cooled off before you do this, or you can open it back up again, and you don't want to do that. And once I cuffed it over, I realized that the hem was just a little too thick, so I just trimmed it a bit. But you might not have to do that. Just look at your item and look at your glove and see how it looks. But this one I kind of feel like the other one is like easier but more steps. This one is like easier because it's just one piece of fabric, but then there's the extra gluing process. So either way works, whatever works. Or you don't have to put a cuff on it at all. I just think it looks really cute with a cuff. Okay? So now that we have our gloves done, what we're basically going to do is just decide where we want them to go, where we want our snowman's hands to be. The inspiration project just had them glued onto the wreath, so there's no right or wrong answer. It's just a matter of personal preference. I just picked a branch, one of the branches, and I stuck the gloves on. I didn't even glue these gloves because the fleece has like a Velcro feel when it's anything like rough, and it really just hangs on to the to the branch really, really well. And if you're going to put this outside and where it's going to be in the elements with the weather, and you can, because this is all of this material is weatherproof. I would suggest gluing them so that they don't fly away. But otherwise, I just slip them onto branches. And then now that can be done now too. Or we can make a hat. Now, I have this buffalo check scarf. It is my buffalo check scarf. Actually, technically, it's Jimmy's. I didn't want to cut it up. So what I'm just doing is I'm tucking in the fringe, and I've rolled it 2.5 times. And I've taken a scrap of the buffalo check from the other scarf, and I've gathered the top, and I've tied the string around the top and to make sort of a pom-pom. And I'm just putting this hat onto the snowman. And it's not really a hat. Shh, don't tell anybody it's not a hat. It's just a rolled up scarf. But all I'm doing is just slipping it on. If you want to make this a more permanent thing and you want to sacrifice some fabric or sacrifice one of these scarves to make a hat, it's very easy. Now I want to use this scarf again as a scarf. So this isn't a permanent hat for this guy unless I can find another scarf. So this was just, you saw me tuck it under. I just taped it. We're going to hang it from here. Right there is the wire. We're going to hang it from there so it won't affect the hat. And I just wanted to share that with you. But if you were making a permanent hat, obviously you just want to cut the width of the circumference around how big you want your hat to be, plus about 1 inch. And then you want to glue, just like we did with the gloves, glue one seam, turn it inside out, and then do the same with the knot, and then you're all set. So that's it, everybody. I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. I think he's so adorable. Again, I wanted to make this for anybody who had kids or with limitations. It's just super, super easy. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you like this little guy or you like how easy it is or how inexpensive it can be. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe, and when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And share this with friends and family. Anybody you know who might be interested in making one or one of these in any style. All right, and as always, I like to end my videos by saying take care, God bless. See you next time. Bye.